Bryon Powell of iRunFar here with Karl Meltzer at the finish of the Antelope Island Buffalo Runs. Karl ran the 100 mile today. Congratulations on your 32nd 100-mile win.
32, yeah.
Unprecedented.
Yeah, no one's got 32 yet.
Not even close, right?
No, I don't think so. I think Tracy is the closest.
And not only 32 100-mile wins, 13 consecutive years with a 100-mile victory.
13 years winning a 100-miler at least once. Yeah.
That's some
It's
longevity.
kind of one of my things. I got to keep winning those, you know?
Yeah. So you did it today in 15:28, I believe?
15:28, shaved a snappy 3 minutes off the record. Not much, but, you know, that's kind of what mattered when I came around the last corner. It's just try to get under that 15:31. So.
Yeah. You've had with 32 100-mile victories and a couple extra races on top of that, you've run anything from real fast runs at Rocky Raccoon to hard rocks and UTMBs. Can you share a little bit about the differences between running a quote unquote flat and fast 100 versus running a real mountainous 100? Do you prepare differently? Do you approach it mentally differently?
Preparing wise, I usually run the flatter races early season because my training during the winter is easier terrain. Because most in summertime I'm running up and down Little Cottonwood Canyon, things like that. Around Snowbird, higher altitude, tougher trails. So I kind of focus my runs on flatter stuff early season, then move to the mountains in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's been working pretty well. The difference is, there's an entire difference to run a race like this or Rocky Raccoon or anything flat is probably, it almost seems like it's harder than running mountain races because there's no variables. You just have to run every step.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to run every step. You walk a little here, it's a couple hills, but it's hard to run flat terrain.
I don't think people realize it, but in a race like a Hard Rock or a Wasatch or even a UTMB, you're walking. You're definitely, right? You're mixing in some fast hikes.
Try walking 35-40% of it.
Yeah.
Of Hard Rock.
Even for you who was winning it.
Right, and you come to a race like this, and if you're contending for the win, you're running every step, little hills, whatever, and that just takes its toll and hammers you.
Yeah.
So this kind of race it's so easy to go out too fast because it's so flat and you want to run every step, kind of like I did today.
Yeah. You had planned to run 7 hours for the first 50 and 8 for the second 50. What did you end up running?
Yeah, the first 50 I went through 6:33, and that was a little quick, but it felt good. It wasn't a problem. So I was just cruising, but at the same time I paid for it later. And I think had I gone out about 7 hours, I probably would have run maybe around 15 instead of 15:28.
Yeah,
but that's okay. It doesn't. To me, it's really about the win. Racking up those wins is, it's one of those things that who knows if I'll die with that record, but it's getting up there. 32 is a lot. How do you approach the nutrition differently in a shorter, faster race than a mountain 100, or what is your fueling plan? Fueling plan is pretty much gel across the board, and water.
Do you do that? Do you eat gels on a certain schedule, or do you just do it by feel at this point? Or?
It's pretty much on a schedule. About every 25 minutes, take a gel serving, and as long as you stay ahead of that, and as long as I stay ahead of it, I'm fine. If I don't stay ahead of it, I fall behind, then I have issues. But I look at my watch every time I take one. I'm like, okay, 25 minutes from now is whatever time, and I stick with that, and it works. It works for me. It doesn't necessarily work for everyone. I don't eat any real food off the table. I think I had a half an orange this time.
Yeah.
Because I had a big lead and I was standing there and picked at it, but gel is what works.
I know in a longer 100 you do Red Bull, or a harder, slower 100, let's say.
Yeah.
You drink Red Bull. Do you do that in something like this?
Red Bull's the same thing. It's not just gel. It's a combination of Red Bull and chicken or soup bouillon. Not chicken bouillon, but soup bouillon. You have your salt stick paps, things like that. But basically, it's mostly liquid stuff. I consider gel liquid.
Totally.
So
you've been running. You've won 3200s. You're now coaching for a couple years. What is your key piece of advice for somebody running their first 100?
Patience. We've heard it before, and even I fall victim to going out too fast like I did here today, but patience is really your friend. Mm-hmm. Especially the first time you run 100, you'll find that rookies who can hang with the front or are pretty fast, they'll run, they'll hang with the front of the field for 25 minutes or 25 miles, and then they just fade off. It feels, you'd start a little bit slower and just keep your fueling going, and you'll have a much better finish at the end. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's all, the best 100 comes in your last 30 miles, not the first 30.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can prepare yourself to run well the last 30, that's the difference.
Yeah. So one of these 3200s, you've set hard rock course records. You've set Wasatch records. What keeps fueling you? What drives you at this point?
It's an addiction, I mean, I've run 100 mile 54 times, and for me, the 100 mile distance is the ultimate distance. And I run 50Ks, 50 miles too, but those are mostly training runs. What fuels me? I like to do it. I like to win. I like to yak about it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I like success. It feels good. I mean, winning never gets old.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who you beat. If there's even Antelope Island here, the competition wasn't strong today, but it wasn't for me really about that. It was just about having a good run. I could have walked the last 6 miles and still won the race, but I kept, for whatever I had, I was going pretty slow, but at the same time I pushed to still run a solid time. And I like to at least see what I have, instead of backing off the throttle.
Yeah.
So even if there's not competition, I still always give it my best effort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty proud of that, because sometimes it's easier to just back off the throttle and just kind of win if there's no one there. But
so you gave it all you had today.
I gave it what I had, and like I said, I went out a little too quick, but.
Where are you giving it your all next? What's up in what's the line for you?
Well, the Ice Age 50 is coming, and that's another. I mean, it's a flatter 50 mile in Wisconsin, I believe, and then Pocatello 50 and Hard Rock. But again, Ice Age is a flatter race, so I'll train for speedier terrain around home now until that race, and then from that I will recover quickly, hopefully, and then get to the mountains.
Yeah. Well, speak to us a little bit about what does your recovery entail? I mean, what do you do in the next couple days or next couple weeks to get yourself ready?
I'll take my dog for a walk next couple days just to move my legs.
So you take days off?
Yes, I will take. I mean, I'll take probably Sunday and Monday. The way I feel now, I'll probably end up taking Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, but I'll take walks. But and I'll keep moving around the house because I don't like to sit still. And I'll start running when my body feels like it's ready. It might be a 3 miler.
Yeah. So you're not going to push your. When you start running, you're not.
No.
You're back in the training right away.
No, I mostly just I just really feel how my body feels, and I may recover in a week. I might recover in 2 weeks. It really just depends how I feel. It's all about feel for me. Yeah. Instead of saying, well, this is your perfect training plan. Well, everyone's different. As long as you can understand how your body works, it's easier to recover faster. Overdoing it is a big mistake you see a lot of people do. If they have a great race and they feel great on, say, Tuesday, they'll start banging out miles, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they'll have this low period where they're, I'm tired again. But that means they're not really recovered from 3 weeks ago. So you want to recover in a week and a half if you can, and then get back to your training. So there's a fine line of doing too much right afterwards. That's what I try to avoid.
Yeah. You definitely like racing against good competition, and I mean, you run a bunch of hard rocks. How many is it? 8? 9?
I started 9, finished 6.
Okay, so you'll start your 10th hard rock in July.
Yeah.
And I think you'd agree that it's going to be the stiffest field you've ever raced.
Absolutely.
I mean, are you looking forward to that in particular, or how are you approaching this year?
I'm looking forward to seeing how I stack up as I get a little older. I mean, I'm 44 now. You got, if this field starts as it is, you've got Hal and Jeff and Tony and Dakota. I mean, those 4 alone is a crazy field. But if I could stay within an hour or 2 of those guys, I'd be pretty psyched, I think. At the same time, I'm fast enough to beat them all too, if it all clicks.
Is this the direction you've had the record in currently, or is this the Kyle Skaggs?
Actually, Kyle Skaggs has the record in this direction we're running this year. My record 24:38 in the other direction is a great time in the other way. So, my best time in this direction is 26:39, which was in 2001, 10 years ago.
So you're gonna shoot for? You think you're gonna get under that?
My goal is to break that time, and if I do that, I'm satisfied. And if I come in 10th or whatever, hey, I come in 10th. But it would be cool to say 10 years later I ran my faster time there. Because I am getting a little older, and I don't. It's no excuse by any means, but in a race like that, it's a slow race. We're racing at 4 miles an hour.
Yeah,
we can all go 4 miles an hour. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And, the young kids might all blow up. They might not. I don't see Jeff blowing up. Jeff's pretty smart. And then even all the other guys, Hal, Tony, and John Fashion, a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a really competitive, great race, and it might come down, to the last climb. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't think we've really spoken about it before, but now that you have a couple years of experience in Hoka, like what draws you to run in Hoka 1-1s, and what are you running in these days? Do you run in the same model all the time?
I mostly run in the Bondies, the Hoka Bondies. I've always liked the soft shoe. I used to go way back in the day to the Montreal Vitesse, if anybody remembers that shoe.
I think people are still wanting that shoe, some people.
Yeah, some people will still have them,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but those were a great shoe for me back at that time. And then there was this period where there really wasn't a big soft shoe anywhere. They became sort of like boots, in my opinion anyway. And then Hoka came about, and they're soft and they're comfortable, and I put those things on and I was like, sold,
Yeah.
So I'm really psyched that those came around. I'm psyched that Nico contacted me.
Yeah.
It was pretty random. But the Bondi's my favorite so far. I mean, I'm sure we'll develop other shoes in the future.
Is there anything in terms of, is it comfort during the race? Is it recovery? What is there anything in particular?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, the comfort during the race. I have no blisters today. No blisters. I mean, my feet don't feel like my feet are hammered.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll recover faster because I had a softer shoe. I just didn't pound my body. Although I feel crippled at the moment and I can barely move, my body will recover faster because they're softer.
Yeah.
I see too many people in little shoes, and that's okay. But I just think the recovery time takes longer because of it.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Well, I wish you a speedy recovery, and congratulations on your 32nd win. And
Excellent.
see you in Silverton in July.
Silverton in July.